today's class was going to be about like other things you can do with this, but instead let's start with the concept of functions. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, cool. So now, this is the old program that we did. We're going to close this up, right? File. I'm just going to preemptively save this so we don't do. So, in a more serious sense, let's get back to the classes, right? Because talking about vacation has made me in a vacation mood, dude. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
But that being said, in a more serious sense, let's talk about more what do you call it? Customers and things along those lines, right?
Mhm.
Someone came up to me and then they would say something along the lines of like, hey, I need you to print my name and your name. Like I need you to print two names. So in this case, it's like Priscilla and Kevin, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Continuously again and again, like 5 different times. And you're like, sure, okay, cool. So you write a program like this. Right? While now let's do for changes. For I in range 0 to 5, right? So this will keep going again and again and again and again and again, like 5 different times, right?
Mhm.
So you go like, okay, sure, here's my program, and then you show this, and then it's like, okay, cool, sure. Then they say, no, I want different names. What do you mean you want different name? I want the name that I give input as. So you're like, well, that's kind of awkward. You want to give two input and you want to do this. In that case, what people would usually end up doing is like, you go y is equal to input of, and z is equal to input of, and then you just run this program, and it's like, what do you call it? Ask me for the, sorry, I'm misspelling it. And then it's just rinse it again, same output. But then they say like, I don't want to take input from the user. I want to pass it as a value. I want it to be I want to use it for any names that I want, no matter how many times. Then you're like, well, how do I do that? That's when the concept of functions show up, right? So, what a function is it's a concept that we define. So, for example, if I say something like name print, and then I have a variable x and a variable y. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the same loop, but you notice that it's one tab above. It's like it's one indent out, right? To the right, 0 to
Yeah.
5. Print, what is it? Right? All right. So now what I can do at any point is I can do something like name print, which is the name of the function that I've defined, right? And then say
Mhm.
something, Priscilla, comma. And if I run this program, what ends up happening is it prints it that many times. It runs this entire set of code instead of the name print. So wherever there's name print, right, it just replaces the entire bit with this bit. So basically what I've done is I've attached the word name print, and every time name print is used, this code will be run. So for example,
Okay.
if I want to do name print, let's say some other names, that's my sister, right? Jennifer, father, right? In that case, if I run this,
With a bracket.
you are correct. I am bad. All right. You see how at first it looks at this name print and then goes Priscilla Kevin, Priscilla Kevin, Priscilla Kevin. Then it looks at this name print and then goes Jennifer father, Jennifer father, Jennifer father. Notice how we didn't have to write the loop twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what it's doing is like it's replace. I'm moving my hand. It's replace wherever there is a name print. It's replacing this. So this entire loop that's being run every time name print is called. Following
Mm.
so far?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let's go one level simpler. So it's like easier to understand, right? Let's refine a function called give me a good name. Print. Let's not print. Print is already existing function, right? Let's define a function called name. All right. Yeah, name. I'm just going to call the function name. All right. So you notice that when I'm defining a function, the first thing I'm doing is I'm putting a keyword define, which is def.
Mhm.
Then what I'm doing is I'm naming the function, which is name. The name has to follow the same rules as variables. So that means you can't put a number here. You can't put a number. You can put a number here. You can't do name print like this with space because that's not allowed. But you can do underscores if you want, and no special characters, so you can't put star here or anything along those lines, right?
Yeah.
And capital NAME is different from small NAME, but that's like no. Right? Let me give.
Okay.
Okay. So we've defined the name for the function, right? Next, we define arguments for the function, what we will pass. So what values we should give to the function for the function in order to access the rest of the in order to do the code, what values will the function need? So in this case, in our name print case, we gave two arguments, which is x and y. And every time we called name print, we said we gave the value of x. And x will be Priscilla and y will be Kevin. Sorry, my mom just bought me lemon juice. So can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Sometimes the net is weird. All right. So Yeah, but what I was saying is like here X value is Priscilla and the Y value is Kevin. All right.
Okay.
Or in this one, the X value is Jennifer and father Y value is father, right? So in
Yeah.
this case, I want to write a function that will just print Kevin. All right. Whenever I say name, it'll automatically print Kevin. For that, I don't need to give any arguments. I don't need it to have any access to any values. I don't need it to have like val I don't need it to give specific values. I just want the function to print Kevin. So I'm keeping these brackets empty. And then I'm putting two dots and then it automatically does the tab. Now what I'm doing is print. All right. So if I at any point of time, if I do name off, it will automatically say Kevin. Okay.
Mhm.
If I want to print this like 5 times, what will I do? I'll just write a for loop for
For
I
loop,
Kevin
I.
range 0 to 5, and then I just do name off. I don't have to do print Kevin. I just do name off, and automatically this will run 5 times. Think about.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sorry. It's not there. So basically, the whenever name's called, it's the Kevin is printed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In that case, what if I want more things in this function? Well, as long as this tab is maintained, it's part of the function. Much like a for loop, as long as the indentation or the tab is maintained, it's part of the function. So if I do print, then I can run this, and it will be Kevin, Priscilla, Kevin. Notice it says Kevin, Priscilla because it follows the order that's in the function.
Yeah.
So far, so good, right? Now, if not, again, at any point, if you have any questions, let me know. Just interrupt me, and that's fine. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so now, what functions? Right now, as far as you can tell, functions are something that like okay, you can use it for printing data. That's awesome. But I want very specific numbers sometime. I want actual values sometime. How do I do this? Well, in that case, this is what I would. There's something known as a return statement. Remember break statement and continue statement? Return statement, instead of exiting out of a loop, will exit out of a function. So, print. No, I'm defining a new function called odd or even. I want it to take a number as an argument. If the number is odd, it will print Priscilla. If the number is even, it will print Kevin. All right, that's the function that I'm given a brief to. That's the function that I'm supposed to be writing here. So I'm going to write that function. So I'm going to be define odd bracket even. It doesn't have to be small letters, but like I like it when it's small letters because I'm bad at this kind of thing. Sorry. Okay. In that case, but this time I want a number. They will give me a number in order to check, right? So I'm going to put a variable n and then I'm going to dot this. Now that n value will take various values depending upon what do you call it? What value is being passed, right? So if n modulus 2, let me put the bracket. If n mod 2 double equals 0, then but instead of print, what I'm using return. Sorry, I'm butchering your name every time, dude.
It's
Uh,
okay.
return Priscilla L. So now what return statement does, it returns out of the function. Except unlike break and continue, return statements can have a little friend, a little value it can return. So in this case, it's returning with the value Kevin, and in this case, it's returning with the value Priscilla. So if I do something like y is equal to odd even of, let's pick, give me a random. I put minus. Why did I put minus? Odd even of, let's say, 7, right? 7.
Mhm.
What do you think will be the value of y?
It will show Kevin. Like,
Okay, so let's go. So I'm running this program. And notice it didn't show anything. Why did it not show anything? Because y has the value of Kevin, but we're not printing y yet. If we do print y, ta-da, that's how you get Kevin. So what has happened is odd even function has returned the value Kevin and stored it in y. So far, so good. Like, does that make sense? Does that make sense? It's like a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit
yeah, that
tricky.
does, that does.
Second. So return values can be anything. It can be lists, it can be values, it can be true, it can be false, it can be numbers. It doesn't really matter as long as you're returning a value. So here's the funny. Usually, I give this program. We usually end up doing as a, what do you call it? What am I saying? As a homework thing. But like this time, let's pick up. Let's run this as a proper program. All right. Comment out. I'm going to write a program that will. What do you call it? Let's see, that will play odd even. Or actually, we can do the, what do you call it? Guessing a number one, right? Yes, let's do the guess a number one this time. All right.
Yeah, okay.
So you remember that program, right? I might write
Yeah,
it a different way than how you did it, but let's try it out, right? So first off, what we're gonna do is like we're gonna get the input. What? Yeah, no, okay, sure. Let's get the input first, right? So I'm gonna say like, no, let's not get the input. Let's say print. I am thinking of a number between 0 to. Before that, however, we remember we need to import IMPO import random. Sorry, right? And then as always, it's y is equal to random dot
Yeah.
random in 0 to 21 because we want a number from 0 to 20 and then I am thinking of a number between 0 to 20. Then we run a while loop, right? So it's like, or a for loop. Actually, let's run a for loop. For I in range 0 to 6. So that's 6 terms, right? Then y is equal to, not y, let's pick up some other numbers. Z is
Because you'll
equal,
do print. Oh, okay.
yeah, same thing, right? Input. Oh, actually, you are correct. I mean, you can just do this. You can do this. Enter a guess, and then it will ask me for it. Will, I didn't do the int thing because we need to compare these numbers. All right. So now the reason I'm doing this program is because why even though we know this program is because I want to show you how modular, how much you can do with functions, right? So normally, what you end up doing, what everybody ends up doing is like you just run like if here, and then it's like what do you got if z greater than y, then like we print a thing, otherwise you don't print a thing, right?
Yeah.
Instead what I'm going to do is before all of this I'm going to define a function. I'm going to call it compare number. All right, now in this compare number I need to take an integer as a argument, so I can do like compare number of that number. All right, and then I'm gonna do the same code here. So it's if n comma yeah n comma y. Let's do this. All right, let's do if n comma y. So that's two numbers. I'm taking the guessed number and I'm taking the number that is all that the computer has thought of. Right.
Mhm.
Then I'm doing if n is greater than y. I'm telling it something like print your number is than the guess Elif print your number no Elif I need to commit Elif and less than what is the y. Sorry, it took me a
I-
if your number is lesser than the yes, and then that means it's not greater, it's not lesser. That means it has to be equal because there isn't any other option. Right? Print you guess the number. All right. So you guess the correct number. All right. But now here's the thing, right? What I can do is I can do something like compare bracket num and then let's say z comma what's the y, right? So basically what is this, it does like it just goes one when you do compare num it goes here and then it starts checking everything. The thing is
Oh, okay.
yeah, notice that we haven't given any return statements here because the more when you if you don't give any return statements it automatically exits the thing. So for example, if elif else, right, these are all one set, right? If this
Mhm.
is it does this and then it looks for if there's anything else left in the function. So for example, if after this else I did something along the lines of like print next or something, right, it'll print then it'll like check this thing and then print next. We don't want that. It'll so because there's nothing else left, because after this if else statement, there's nothing else left, it'll automatically exit out of the stop function. Problem here, however, is that I want to control when it exits out of the country. So I want to make sure that it exits when like we tell it to exit, right?
So we use a break exit
No,
system.
exactly. You read my mind. So what I'm going to do, I import this, and then I'm going to do sys dot exit. This way, once that else is triggered, once they guess the number correctly, it will exit out of the system. All right.
Yeah.
Does this make sense? It's a little bit
It
complicated, right?
does. It does.
Okay. Let's run. So this is like my programming process, so to speak, right? You notice me like I just like went forward and then wrote compare num here, and then it's like all this here, right? So
Yeah.
so couple of things about that. The reason I wrote compare num here is because if I wrote this like this, right? Let's say if I did this, right, the system will still be able to recognize compare num, I think, because like what do you call it? It always reads from top to the bottom and it checks all the functions, puts it separately. So here it will be like, oh, there's a compare num function declared later, that kind of thing, right? But
Hmm.
it's good practice. It's good practice to declare all of your functions on the top and the main program in the bottom. This is like one of those things which if you don't follow, nobody's going to be like, oh, you didn't do this kind of thing. But it's just good practice. It's like one of those good manners kind of thing. You know what I mean? Why?
Yeah.
Because sometimes operating systems will be like, oh, you didn't declare compare num. Oh no, kind of thing, and that's going to be very annoying. So that's one thing. Number two is the fact that let's try and run this, and then if there are any errors, we'll figure it out from there. All right. So I'm going to run
Yeah.
this. It already told me the error, which is module random has no randint. What do you mean? What is the function called? I forgot. What is it called? It's called randint, right?
Yeah. RANDINT.
Oh, there's no space. I am a bad
Yes.
person. You are correct. Yes. Habits. Habits. All right. So if I am thinking of a number between 0 to 20, I will say like 5. And then it says your guess is lesser than a number. Okay. In that case, I'll say 10. Your guess is lesser than the number. Okay. I'll say 15. You get that was okay. That was lucky. But what I'm gonna try and prove to you is like after the 6 guesses, right? After the
Mhm.
loop is ended, there it just suddenly would stop the program. There is no like what do you call it? Force exit, right? There's no like
Yeah.
for testing sake, let's see.
Hmm.
I'm gonna comment this out and I'm gonna say y is equal to this is again for testing sake. So run and then it's like enter a guess. I'm putting 1, no, 5, no, 6. And after that it immediately exits the program. I don't want that. I want it to exit with like a message or something, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a print statement outside of the for loop because that implies that it went to compare num and all the time it only had if or else. It never went to this else statement, therefore never went to the system exit. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? So
Yeah. That.
so therefore I'm going to write something like oh sorry you didn't guess the number. It was and then comma, right? So now I can run this, and then I can run this. And then say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Oh no, sorry, you didn't get the number. It was 20. Got it? But you
Yeah.
notice, you see how like because I use the function, I didn't have to write all of this if statements right here,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's easier to look on. It's better to look at because functions are most like you don't have to use functions. You never have to use functions, but functions are a key concept in order for you to understand how to like modify your code, in order to make the code like look prettier, in order to make sure that other people who show up and afterwards look at your code, they are able to understand what you're doing. Like for example, if someone shows up and you say something like, okay, so this function is where it compares the number, they'll be like, oh, okay, you made it a function, great. And then if they want, what they can do is like I will use the compare function to say compare num of 7 comma 6, right?
Mhm.
Just so I just want to print I just want to compare 7 and 6, right? So I can use that function and then go and then like pretend I did this properly. Wait, let's do this. I just don't want all of this game stuff, right? I'm just going to compare the number. How do I do this? I'm just going to compare the number 7 and 6, right? So I'm going to run this and it's like, why is not defined? Why is y not defined? Where's y? Oh, this y. Right. 1 second. There you go. So I'm just, what do you call, comparing 7 and 6, right? And see, it says your number is greater than guess number because 7 is greater than 6. And according to it, the guess number is 7 and this thing is 6. It's just comparing 7 and 6. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
So
That does. That does.
functions are useful in order to not just for the what do you call it, not just for making the code pretty, but in order for like when multiple things are very similar functions are very similar uses, like if you're writing the same for loop again and again and again, you probably need it as a function. You'll just probably put it as a got it.
Yeah. Got it.
All right, now it's your turn. Share your screen. Sorry, it took a little bit longer, but like this is kind of a more important topic, right? All right.
Yeah.
All right, check. Now, so first off, let's start with like the simple stuff, right? Which is like, let's write a function that will. Oh, this time you don't have to. I think for this exercise, let's not comment out what we are doing. Let's just write the function and then what do you call use the function later. So
Yeah. Okay.
the first function that you're going to write is going to be a function that will print out your name. So, normal. So how do you define a function? First off, write define that is def, yeah, all right, and then space name the function. So normally the name of the function is something that like people would usually be able to recognize. It's like naming a variable, right? So
Yeah.
say something like name, yeah, exactly,
Nice.
and then put 2 brackets. This function, you only want this function to print out your name, right? So we
Yeah.
don't need the arguments, we don't need anything fancy on this, we just need a print statement. So just first off put 2 dots implying that we are starting a function, right? Enter, it'll
Mm-hmm.
automatically put you in a tab. Print, yeah, you're correct, print your name. Awesome. Now come down. Oh, right, yeah. All right, hit backspace one more time. Okay, now hit enter a little bit more, so like we have a defined area, right? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Now write name. Just write name and then brackets. Like now run this code. Awesome.
Oh.
Now using this function, which is the name function, write a
Mhm.
code that will write the name 5 times.
Okay. I can do this.
Use the
I.
function. Just put name it. Just put name brackets.
Yeah. So this also is.
Yeah, just there you go. Now run it. Awesome. Now modify the name function. So it on the next line prints my name. So go to after print Priscilla, put enter, hit enter. Yeah. Notice that there's a bit of tab, right? The tab
Yeah.
implies that all of the things are within the function. Now just type print Kevin. Now run it. Awesome. You notice how it says Priscilla, Kevin, Priscilla, Kevin, Priscilla, Kevin. All right. Like, because you see like you see how like just adding the function name function means that the entire thing started up. Okay. All right. Now
Mhm.
comment out only the for loop. We're just going to keep all the functions that we run here, right? Okay. So next up, what did I do next? Odd even function, right? So now let's start a new function. Define a function called odd even. So that'll be define, yeah, space, odd even. So you can do either that or you can do odd even without the space, but just don't put a proper space. You know what I mean? It's your choice. Really
Yeah,
your
yeah,
choice.
yeah.
Now for odd even function, remember the function needs to accept one argument. That means within the brackets, give like a variable like n, y, or like number or something like that. It's your choice, right? Right.
Okay.
Now two dots, hit enter. The way this function works is if the number is even, I wanted to print your name. If the number is odd, I wanted to print my name. So the number that we are going to compare will be
Okay.
number
So I write if
if
n mod to double equal to
double equal to
0.
0. Bingo.
And
Yes,
okay.
exactly that. Exactly that. Okay. Instead of print, wait. A bit of tamang. Instead of print, type return.
Return, yeah.
Return return space and then your name Priscilla. This time it's a string, right? Hit enter. Else, let's put else. We don't need another condition, right? Return Kevin. Make sure the tabs are correct. Make sure the tabs are correct. Yeah, because else requires one tab and then the function
Mhm.
already has one tab. So yeah. All right. Hit enter. So exit out of the function. That means hit enter and then it will go back to the left, right? Just go left. Yeah. Now what we're gonna do is define a variable y that says that is equal to is awesome. This is a little bit variant, right?
So
So
y
y
is equal to odd even bracket 7.
no
Like,
no no just for now what you do is like y is equal to start a string and type is awesome. Is space awesome. AWESOME, right? Do the thing. I don't know how to spell awesome. You're the one who all right, cool. All right. So now z is equal to type this odd even. No. The odd even, the function, right? Put a number. Put like let's say 8 maybe plus y. Print z. Before you run this program, let me know what you think will be the answer. Print z. What do you think will
okay,
be the answer?
so if it's 8, it
Uh-huh.
will it will show Kevin
No,
is
if it's
awesome, and
eight,
if it's
so
yeah.
if it's eight, it'll go Priscilla. It'll return Priscilla. So instead
Oh
of
yeah,
odd
yeah,
even eight, yeah. So
yeah.
instead of odd even, it'll type Priscilla and then plus is awesome. So Priscilla plus is awesome. Priscilla is awesome. Run this.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
You notice there's no space here because Y doesn't have a space. If you just put a space there, you're probably fine. Or you can just like plus space and all that. Not like that. Not like that. Y is equal to. You see, Y is equal to. Y is equal to
yeah,
is
yeah, 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 right,
there,
right.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Now, if you run this, awesome. Now, if instead of return, what you gave there was print, right? If you said print Priscilla, print Kevin, it would have thrown an error. Why would it throw an error? Because the print statement and a Y cannot add. You need a string and Y to be adding. Does that make sense?
I don't get it.
Okay, let's try this one more time. Let's try this one more time. All right. So instead of comment this out, copy this program, comment this out. No. The odd even function. Sorry, comment out odd even,
This one.
or no. The entire function. Just comment it out
Okay.
and then comment it out. Yeah. All right. Now copy it and paste it. We're gonna what do you call it? Modify the function a little bit, right?
Copy all of this.
Copy all of this. Yeah. And then paste it. Paste it above Y. Paste it above Y. If you okay, that's
Oh,
fine. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Again, it's only the thing, right? Select it and uncomment it real quick. Format, uncomment. Now, instead of return Priscilla, type print Priscilla, right? I'll explain to you. So it'll be like brackets and all that, right? Same
do
thing
I
with
say
return.
put it?
Yeah, same thing. Just type print. Now run this program. This should
Yeah.
you see, it says odd even is not defined. So because you put odd even in the last, it's
Oh,
already
okay.
yeah.
Right.
Because it doesn't know that audio. So copy it and paste, copy that entire bit and put it above the Y is awesome, right? Or cut it, I guess. It doesn't really matter because we're gonna delete it anyways. So yeah, remove that. Now run. You see how it first prints Priscilla because odd even of 8 is going to and if so let's run how this program is going to go. All right. So what is going to happen? It's going to define odd even. All right. It's going to define that as a function. Then it's going to be
Mhm.
like y is equal to is awesome. Awesome. Z is equal to odd even of 8 plus y. Okay. Let me do odd even of 8 first. So it will go to odd even with n is equal to 8. And then it will be like okay, n mod 2 is equal to 0. So it's print. It says print Priscilla. All right, we printed Priscilla. Sick. Then there's no return statement. So when it comes back, odd even is as it says, none type because it returned nothing. Does that make
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because
yeah,
it
that makes
yeah,
sense.
because it returned nothing, it's throwing an error. But at the same time, on the odd even program that we did above, where it says return Priscilla, it came back with the word Priscilla, with the string Priscilla, or it will come back
Okay.
with the string Kevin. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So you don't have to give return statements, but it's like when you're using it in other expressions, like we did odd even plus y, odd even 8 plus y, and all that, right? That's when a return statement is used. When you want to give a value from the function to something else, that's when a return statement is used. Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So comment out the new print out the odd even that we just did, right? Comment that out.
This one?
The function.
Oh, this.
Yeah. And then uncomment the function before. The other order even that we did, right? The return one, that one just uncommented. All this time, notice how I didn't say that, never told you to uncomment the name one, right? The name
Yeah.
function. So what we are going to do is modify, not modify, I guess, right? In the last is awesome, right? We're going to, no, comment out the entire thing. Comment out the last three lines. Just comment it out. Sorry, I'm giving you like a lot of instructions today, but like,
It's
no,
fine.
comment.
It's okay. It's good. You know. Yeah,
But
I got
notice that right now, if you run this, nothing will happen. Just run it, run it, run it. I'll show you nothing will happen. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And because unless you call the functions are just there, they're just vibing and they're not going to do anything. At the same time, if you give the term, if you just say like name off, it'll print the name. Or print odd even of 5, it will print odd even of 5. Or not odd even of 5, whatever is the value that's returned by odd even of 5. So for example, right now type name off first, like put name, bracket, bracket, yeah, and then hit enter, and then type print odd even off, print odd even off, give a number, I guess, right? Odd even of, let's say 7, maybe, close bracket, close bracket. Now run this. All right. So it's basically doing the name function first, which is Priscilla, printing Priscilla and Kevin. Then
And
it's
then
doing
it's
the
doing the
odd
odd
even.
even. Okay.
Yes, and odd even is returning. So because it's returning a
Yes.
value, it's printing that value. There you go. All right, six, 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 six. So that's mostly what we know about functions. Functions are great. Functions are short bits of code that we end up using. Now let's try a different program. Let's try something. Okay, let's do the same thing that I did, right? So let's try
Mhm.
the guessing number program, but this time we'll try to use a function for it. All right.
Okay.
So first off, comment out the name and print odd even because we don't need that. Again, the best part about functions is that you can just write them and they just stay there. You don't have to, they don't like interrupt with the program unless it's being called. So our
Yeah.
both functions there, they notice how I told you to comment out the other odd even though the print odd even. I told you
Yeah.
to comment it out because it has the same name as an existing function. And it would be like, oh, there are two functions with the same name. That's an error kind of thing. So
Oh,
you can't
yeah.
name functions of the same name because the program is not able to differentiate them, which is very funny to me. But hey, all right. So let's do the what do you call it?
That's the
Random
number.
guessing number one, right? So how does it start? Let's start with importing random. That's always going to happen, right? Awesome.
And
Now let's pick
seven.
up a yeah, it's picking up a random number, rand in 0 to 21 maybe because we want it from 0 to 20, right? Awesome. And then print that hey, I'm thinking of a number between 0 to 20, right? Then we run the for loop. We are thinking we have like 6 guesses, right? So for I in 0 to 6. Okay. Now first off we take the input, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Z is equal to integer of or z y whatever value, not y we already defined,
Z
right?
is equal
Equal
to
to integer of input of, right? The entire thing. Enter a guess.
input of.
Of enter a guess. Just type like enter or guess. What like
Okay.
yeah. We are like asking them to guess a number, right? Close the integer. All right. Now we realize that oh, we are gonna write a if statement, but like I don't want to use this if statement again and again and again. If somebody else wants to use it, so we are gonna define a function. So go above the print statement, above the for loop, maybe wherever. Like just make sure it's yeah. There you go. Hit enter. All right. Now define a function. So it will be def. Hit space. Name the function. I wrote it compare num. If you want to name it something else, that's also your choice.
Guess number, I guess.
That makes sense, absolutely. And then start open two brackets, right?
Yeah.
So we need the number that they guessed and the number we are comparing it to. So that's in the brackets. Give it two. No. We need two numbers to check, right? So
Oh,
in the
right,
bracket,
right.
yeah. So we need two arguments. So put like let's say n and y or x and y or something like that. All right. Put two dots. Hit enter. Hit enter. All right. Now, you know the for loop. It's like if n is greater than y, your guess is number is greater. L if n is lesser than thing, your guess number is lesser. Else, you correctly guess the number, and then we get the hell out of it. I'm going to drink.
So much more easier compared to what I did last time.
That that I understand that, dude. It's like actually painful.
No, because I struggled so much with it. It's like,
Else, say something like print you guess the correct number and then sys dot exit, but we didn't import system yet, so just import system then you done. No, no, it's
SYS,
sys.
right?
It's
Yeah.
sys. It says sys. I say system because that's what it's called. It's called system. It's one of the things where like there's an anime called like My Hero Academia, and someone goes, it's actually
Oh
Boku no
yeah,
Hero
I've seen
Academia.
that. I've seen that.
It's a
Yeah.
great anime. But like somebody will always go, it's actually Boku no Hero Academia, and then you punch them in the face, right? Same logic.
Yeah.
It's like it's actually system. Like shut the hell up. All right. So sys.exit, right? All right. We've defined the function guess num. That means in the for loop, after the z is equal to input, we are gonna guess num between z and y. So like after enter a guess, right? Just type like no, after enter a guess, hit enter. No, no, no. Bottom, bottom. Ow, ow. Not there, not there, not there. In the for loop, in the
Yeah,
for
right,
loop.
right,
Yeah,
right, right.
Hey, sorry. Hit enter. Just to do a guess num of no no no. Make sure it's within the for loop. Make sure it's within the for loop. So hit enter. Yeah. Now type guess num of z comma y. Right? Yeah. Y. Hit enter. Exit out of the for loop. And then write like if they got the number within 6 guesses, that means system exit would have triggered. That means the
Mhm.
program would have been ended. That means it would never
Yeah,
come this in out of the for loop unless they guessed all of them wrong, right? So then print. So that means this is that means if the loop is done, that means they're done. So type say something like, "Oh, sorry, you used up all your guesses" or something like that. Just go the do and then close the bracket, and there you go. This is the let's just run this and check it out. All right. Let's say let's give a random guess. I'm 7 higher. That means it's lesser. So let's say it's lesser than nicely done. See, it's working perfectly. Now, it's a simple program. We can use guess num for other reasons. If you want to do guess num 7 comma 7, that also possible and all that. Yeah. All right. Notice that during guess num we gave n comma y, even
yeah,
though we already defined a y afterwards. Wouldn't it replace it? No, actually. So functions have a special property. Anything that you define within the function stays within the function. That is called a local scope. Wait, let me stream my let me stream my screen so I can like show you what I mean.
You want me to stop sharing?
Oh, I didn't know you were going to still start. Yeah, just stop sharing. This is a term. This is a term, right? But this is the last bit of explanation, and after that you're done, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
notice how this says y, and this I also have a y here. Why is this not throwing an
Yeah,
error? Because this is within a function, any variable that you define, any names that you define are within the scope of the function. A local scope, as they call it, local scope.
cool.
All right. So anything you
Okay.
define within the function will stay within the function. So if I do something like this, right? If I do print n, because there's an n there, right? We should be able to print that n, but it will tell me no, n is not defined because according to this program, n is only relevant in the concept of this function.
Yeah,
All right. Outside of this
yeah,
function, that n does not exist. All right. Just be careful with
yeah.
your variable names, and other than that, you are done. We made good time. We have 3 minutes left. So if you have,
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later then.